Good to go.
Okay.
Awesome.
We'll get this started then.
Good luck, Murph.
Hey. So, this is Final Fight 3. It's actually the fourth Final Fight game that got made because, there's a game on the NES called Mighty Final Fight, but it's the third one taking place in the series, so I'm gonna play as Guy. He has, the strongest attacks by a pretty good margin. The biggest being these dash attacks that they do damage really fast. They allow you to move forward really quickly and do damage. And there's also a thing in this game where a pretty common theme of the Final Fight series is you want to try and do as long of like combo series as you can without knocking anything down. And one of the features of this game is that you can cancel attacks into running. And so by canceling the running attack into a run and then canceling that into running attacks again, you can pretty much combo things for as long as you want for as much damage as you want. So that's kind of the structure of how you do damage in this game. There's also special attacks, which will become more handy as enemies get more health. But for right now, this will be good enough. Being as this is a beat-em-up and enemies get to take random actions at all times, there is a lot of randomness in what your actual time, but for the most part, doing some specific things allows you to get at least a decent time all the time. Right now, the enemies aren't too bad. There's a few things they can do, but for the most part, I'm not going to worry too much. I am playing on Expert, which doesn't do a lot other than make the enemies more aggressive. It does give the bosses more health. Cool. So that's a perfect Dave fight. Oh, is my game. Not sure why my mic is cutting out. I can turn the game audio down pretty easily.
Murph, your mic isn't actually cutting out, it's just Twitch being Twitch, unfortunately.
I see.
I've been having problems with that all marathon. You sound fine on Discord to me, though, so go for it.
Alright, well, that's unfortunate, but that's how it is. So Dirk is one of the main enemies of concern during the early game. Not so much because of what they can do that's dangerous, as because they take a really long time to stand up. So if you make a mistake and knock them down, it's a more time-costly mistake than other places or other enemies. Like you can see, he was down on the ground for long after the other enemies were standing up. Some people are joking about soft locking. It is possible to soft lock this game, but the only place I've ever done it is after beating the final boss, so kind of irrelevant if it happens, at least if you're not going for a strictly recorded run or anything like that. Can be tricky to time. So one thing that's weird about this game compared to more traditional beat-em-ups is that there's actually like different route choices you can make by either breaking doors or things like that and then going into them. This particular routing thing isn't too significant, it just starts the fight with the boss here earlier. Clawman's actually the most random boss in the entire game. He gave me perfect luck to start out with. He can dodge pretty much any attack he wants. There's also this super attack you can do when your meter's full. It's pretty cool, it does good damage and everything. It's not generally useful because the rate it does damage is kind of limited and it's a single target, but it's good for finishing off a boss without having them have the opportunity to escape. Some specific enemies I'll use it on, depending on the situation. Like these enemies here, they're one of the more obnoxious enemies. They can backflip pretty much any time that they're not in hit stun, so it can be hard to pin them down and hit them. So if I get the opportunity to throw them, I'll usually just do it. Most of them don't have very much health. They can also do that attack, which they can pretty much do whenever they want. So Maze, and there's another enemy later called Joe that's pretty similar in how they behave. So we're gonna hope that they don't cost me too much time over the course of the run, but they're definitely gonna cost me a lot. So this stage is probably the single most important route choice. I took some time to break this sign back here. That's actually a bus route, and normally you'd get on the bus and you'd follow the stage along and everything, but we don't know what time the bus is going to come now, so we're just going to leave and go to stage 4 instead. And we actually end up with a different stage 4. Alright, so right there is what we want to see. There's 4 weapons in this game. Each character is specialized in one. Guy's specialty weapon is the nunchucks, but even the specialty weapons aren't terribly useful. The hammer, on the other hand, is pretty good. It does... so the super attack in this game does 50 damage. The hammer actually does a total of 42 damage. So it's almost as powerful as a super, just straight up, and it also looks hilarious and kind of covers a lot of space. So the only weapon I ever really want to see is hammers, but it is random. I don't have any control over it. So now we're going to get introduced to Andor, who's not too threatening in this game. He can pile drive me just at random if he wants to, but generally he won't. A lot of times when I'm just kind of fighting random enemies, you'll see me just do one single standing punch and then start doing my combos. The standing punch just puts them in hit stun, and it kind of gives me the opportunity to set up more damaging combos. Just standing strikes with Guy especially are not very damaging. So here I'm going to do a thing, by pressing down and jump when you've got an enemy in a grapple, you'll change sides with them. And if you do it 3 times right in a row, it'll actually just drop them right in front of you. So when enemies are kind of off screen like that, it's an easy way to reset them into a position where you're able to do your combos to them, since enemies will just kind of get pushed off screen otherwise. Good luck. Yep, so that's something Maze can do. So another thing that I kind of did there, that's kind of a trick of the engine, okay, is if you run into an enemy, just like straight up run and hit attack, it'll usually grab them. But if you can hit that, or if you can get to the attack part of the elbow before they leave hit stop, it'll actually let you just do the dash attack instead of grabbing them. This is another routing thing here. You can go inside, but there's a lot more enemies. So here, there's kind of a weird thing. For most of this game, there's a limit of 3 enemies on screen at all. But here, by using only one type of enemy and giving them all the same exact sprite and palette, they managed to squeeze a 4th one on there. because that's the power of the Super Nintendo. Alright, so now we're on the third boss that we're actually fighting. Drake doesn't really have great answers to what you can do in this game. So when I talked before about guys' dash attack strings, this is really the most telling part of how that works. By pinning him in a corner where he can't get off screen, you just get to do his entire health bar. So he doesn't get a lot of chances to have actions. He has one or two attacks he can do that'll waste a little bit of time, but in general, you pretty much set him up for that and then do whatever you want to him. So, like the other Final Fight games, this game does have bonus games. In this case, there's only 2, and I'm actually not going to play the other one. But this one's pretty boring. You just have to jump kick this guy. You want to do dashing jump attacks, because guy's dashing jump attack does 12 damage instead of his regular jump attack doing like 10 or something like that. So, help save some time. Not a huge deal. Anyway, round 5 is where we're going to start seeing a lot of the more obnoxious enemies. This is going to be the first appearance of Joes, who they're like Maze, except probably even more problematic. They can tumble around like that, really waste a lot of time. Gave me pretty good luck here, just letting me set up combos on him. Doing supers on Maze is pretty excessive damage-wise, but if I get an opportunity where I grab one at full health and I have the super, it's worth just doing it to get him out of there. Since I don't have any other throw that would kill them. Sometimes enemies just retreat off screen. This screen's also dangerous because that little alcove in the top left that I'm past now, that's actually another branching path thing. But that particular branching path leads back into the version of stage 4 that I skipped. So if I were to go in there, I would lose something like 5 minutes automatically. Actually, probably more than that. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've done that stage. But yeah, these are hunters. I think these are the last unique enemy type. Or no, there's Fritzes still, but Fritzes aren't really that important. Hunters aren't very threatening. They only have 3 attacks, 2 of which are extremely slow. There's Fritz. All they do is walk on screen, throw a grenade, and then leave. They have 0 HP. Or 1 HP, I don't remember which. But hunters only have 3 attacks, 2 of which are extremely slow. They have like a wind up into a bat swing and a wind up into a slide. And both of those moves, while they're very, very slow, they do have pretty advantageous hitboxes for the enemies. And they do probably about a third of your life. Their third attack is like this, it's like a right hook. And it's really fast. It animates in like 1 or 2 frames, but unlike their other attacks, it doesn't actually do any real amount of damage, so whoops. But, yeah, this game, like, the main reason that this game is kind of interesting to play is just that the running mechanics are really powerful, and it really increases the pace of the game a lot. but the enemies definitely have too much health if you don't know about that stuff. So here I'm taking another specific route. By going in this room, I get to these computers, which I'm gonna make sure to destroy. You actually can't attack them directly. You have to kind of impact them with an enemy's body, or your own body if you get knocked down. But, so I destroyed all 4 of the computers, which is important for this part. This is actually one of the single most important luck events in the game, and I got the bad luck. If that May gets punched, then this fight would be over about now. But didn't get it this time. Not a big deal. So since I destroyed all those computers, instead of going on and fighting the boss of this stage, we're just gonna end it here and move on to the last stage. So up until now, the game has been pretty tame with throwing the really obnoxious enemies at us. Stage 5 had them, but they were kind of few and far between. This stage, there's going to be a lot. A lot of Joes, a lot of Mays, and big fights involving just them. One of the flip sides with Joes that's kind of positive, I guess, is that they do stand up on the first, like, immediately when they get knocked down. So it makes it easy to throw them if you want to just do simple loops on them. But sometimes they also decide to just jump around like that. But yeah, the rooting stuff that I talked about earlier is interesting too, because this game actually has 7 different bosses, but in a speedrun we fight 4. Which is, it's pretty unusual to be able to skip that many of the bosses, nonetheless pretty much any of them, and they beat them up. I am gonna die during this stage a couple times. There's safe ways you can approach these fights, but it's not really worth it. So this is another kind of minor routing thing. There's a pretty large fight here, but by going into the door and then leaving the door immediately, it actually skips, it like unloads that fight. So instead of doing that, okay, that's really bad luck for that ability to do that, but that happens in this game. But yeah, unload the fight and just keep moving. And we're going to do the same thing here. There's going to be a fight. There's, I want to say 12 Mays in this fight, but we're going to just throw one and then leave, because I don't have any reason to fight all those people. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot else to talk about with this game right now. It's pretty straightforward. Just kind of abusing the number of lives that I have to play really aggressively. Alright, so this right here, this elevator is probably the single worst part of the run. So this elevator has 10 Joes in it, and like the boat section earlier, they abused using only the same enemy and palette to get 4 of them on screen at the same time. So, the most random enemy, a whole lot of him, and a lot at once. But this is pretty good luck overall. Not perfect. They haven't been throwing me, which is good. They've let me combo them a couple times. That's their throw. They like to do that sometimes. Alright. Now this is another probably of the most important fights here. Is there's going to be these two guys. There's an RB, or I don't remember if this is Fat Jack, not RB. And then after this, there's going to be a bunch of maze. I don't remember exactly how many. I want to say about 9. And these ones are kind of standard, but yeah, here's one that has a whole bunch of extra health. And unlike the elevator, I don't have a wall to work with, so... if they get pushed off screen, I'm just kind of out of luck. But that was a pretty... So far, this has been pretty... There we go. Yeah, that's a pretty favorable May fight. They definitely have a lot worse things they could do. So, a few sets of Fat Jacks and RBs together. Pretty easy to get them set up. Gonna abuse the triple side change here to put these two guys together. One concept that I didn't really talk about too much, it's pretty important for beat 'em ups, is stacking enemies together so that your attacks are damaging as many enemies as possible. 'Cause that's pretty much the prime way you gain time over the course of the game. Is by just making sure you're doing damage to as many enemies as possible at the same time. The game did get super laggy there because of the objects on the ground. I generally try and pick stuff up right away to get rid of it, but because of how that situation played out, I hadn't done that yet. So yeah, even though they're point items, I still need to get them off the ground. Nice grab. Wow, they are jumping. That's actually good. I was thinking I needed to die there because I need some health to work with for the final boss, who's coming up in a moment here, assuming this Andor ever comes back on screen. There we go. Alright. So yeah, through all the standard play, we just have the final boss left. Oh yeah, the jumping spin kick costs health. It's a desperation move or a super joy, or there's a bunch of different names for it depending on the game. But yeah, on contact it costs health, and if you don't have any health, you can't use it. It's kind of your safety in traditional beat 'em ups. So by using it, you get enemies off of you, you create space, you get a chance to reset the situation, all that stuff. But anyway, this is Black. He's gonna challenge us to a fight up here on the helipad. I'm gonna kind of lure him over here. Okay, that's weird luck. I'm gonna trick him into doing this, and then hopefully I'm gonna be able to position this right. Wow, he's dashing out of there real fast. There he is. That's problems. Alright. So now, now that I've pinned him in the corner, he's not going to get a real good chance to do much anymore. Kind of a lackluster final boss. And that's the game. I actually had to be real careful there. If I had hit him, if I hadn't let the screen start to advance there, it would have soft locked the game instead of ending. But it's pretty easy to avoid, just have to kind of stall for a few frames and then finish him off with something.
Nice run, man. Well done, well done.
Yep. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed.
Right on,
Or
thanks,
you didn't,
Murph.
and you
Thanks for
sat
playing.
through it. That's fine, too.
Wait a minute, who's that guy?
Yeah, we don't worry about Dean.
What? He has a name? I didn't do anything, but I won't forget that I owe you one. Chat's asking what happens if you kill him towards the left.
If you killed him towards the left, but the screen has started advancing, it'll actually just throw him all the way across the screen to hit the panel like he does. Like, the script actually works, whatever position he's in. But if the screen has... Like, in order for the screen to advance over there, or have the ability to advance over there, Black has to have had a chance to move with at least, or with under, I want to say, 70 health. Something like that. Like, once he gets to his last health bar, he'll advance the screen like that. But it's actually an action that he takes. Like, so if he's just completely pinned and hit stun, then he can't do it. But, like, if I did that combo on the left and just delayed like I did and then did the Super Joy to finish him as he advanced, it would have just... he would have just flown all the way over there.
Well, nifty.
It's pretty great.
Yeah. Congratulations, thanks for playing, Murph.
Yeah, that's what the congratulations, thanks for playing is the special bonus for playing on Expert.
Whoa!
Really,
Whoa,
yeah,
get
big
back.
reward.
Yeah.
Anyway, game's over. Go home.
I would suggest that you don't go home, just stay right here, but close enough.
Yeah.